One Piece designs are awesome and I love them. So let's not waste time. One Piece needs no intro and I just want to talk about some of my favorite character designs. So let's get started with the ever so lovely Big Mamu. One Piece has always been like a big mixing pot of different inspirations, beyond different cultural, religious, and real-life people. It also pulls from other fictional works to create its characters and the iconography they utilize. For a quick example, our favorite liar Usopp gets his long nose from Pinocchio and is named after Aesop's fables. Big Mom might be my favorite example of this throughout the whole series, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of great designs in One Piece. I love so much of them. To start, her signature polka dot dress and rosy cheeks resemble North American women's fashion from around 1920 to 1950s. The significance of this isn't readily apparent, however there are dots to connect here. The early 19th century was the golden age of Disney and the rubber hose style of animation. Back in the days of rubber hose, it was not uncommon for inanimate objects to be given faces and life, much like Big Mom's homies. For those of you not familiar with rubber hose, the perfect example of a modern callback to it is Cuphead. It's maxed out, classic cartoonist expression where everything has a face and a personality to match. And it's primarily used in soft, kid-friendly entertainment. And before I move on, I would like to add that turning her homies into yokai to fit into Wano's Nippon aesthetic is clever and cool. It's also in the first half of the 1900s where the term nuclear family was coined. The stereotypical mother of a nuclear family would be a kind and caring stay-at-home mom with a devoted husband and only a handful of kids, usually 2 to 3. Meanwhile, our queen Big Mom stands in complete contrast to this. Not only by tearing through dozens of husbands in her huge amassed harem and treating her kids horribly, but also in having too many to know what to do with. 85 to be exact. That ain't no nuclear family structure. The polka dot dress with frills gives Linlin a mom from way back when vibe, which is incredibly appropriate given her age and title. But the most important inspiration to Big Mom is also the most obvious. She's not so subtly based off the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Wonderland coatings can be found all throughout Totland's aesthetic and the Big Mom crew themselves. White rabbits, mirrors you can walk through, tea parties, chess piece soldiers are very similar in concept to card soldiers. How everything in Totland seems to operate by a different set of rules. There's a childish edge to everything. And all ruled by a queen who's so selfish, inconsiderate, petty, and still expects everything to be perfect. But whose self-perception and enabling treatment from her subjects leads her to a false self-image. One of a just, kind, and fair queen loved by all, and whose only goal is to make her kingdom a happy one. If everyone would just do as she says, everyone would be happy, it's just that simple. The arc even ends with a mad, desperate chase out of Wonderland, not unlike other adaptations of the Alice in Wonderland story. And through all of this, Linlin is still recognizably a pirate. She's got Napoleon, her captain hat, a cape like so many of her contemporaries, tattoos, and even a bandana underneath Napoleon. And do we even have to mention her ugly mug, warts and all? Her expressions and attitude make her such a delightful character. A real treat. Now let's talk about Linlin's cutest son, Katakuri. When I first saw Charlotte Katakuri, the first thing I noticed was how striking his appearance is. He looks like the edgy, no-nonsense black sheep of the Charlotte family. When compared to the rest of the Charlottes, his heavy use of black and the edgy getup stands out against the lighter shades and the fantastical getups that they all wear, many of them based off fantasy characters. Even still, Katakuri is more than just his red hair to make him recognizable as a Charlotte. Katakuri's sizable and decorated knee pad connects him to his fellow Sweet Commanders Cracker and Smoothie, who both also have very decorative knee pads. The black color and excessive amount of spikes serves to make Katakuri look edgy and intimidating, leaning into his tough guy persona. And lastly, there's Katakuri's scarf that is meant for covering his unappealing mouth. The scarf's utility here is integral to Katakuri's character, and its removal in the latter half of his fight with Luffy has obvious implications. All the edge around Katakuri screams Hot Topic teen, or at least the stereotype of an edgy, insecure teenager. The type of person who wants to look as cool as possible, but who's more sensitive and childish than they would ever admit. The complete contrast between his no-nonsense personality and edgy biker strip set right next to his love of donuts makes Marienda probably the funniest chapter in the whole series. And by the end of his fight, Katakuri embraces his love for donuts to create his most powerful attack. A memorable design, a meaningful design, and I can't wait to see more of his lovable face. Mwah. On the complete other end of the spectrum, we have Dolflamingo, who exudes confidence and iconic. It's not a getup every teenager will think it's cool, and that risk increases Dolflamingo's charisma. Dolflamingo is a big, pink, extravagant monster, not only with his patterned pants and pointed shoes, but most notably with his coat. Feathers add a sense of magnitude and extravagance to one's image, making it popular in show business and performance arts. I've seen some compare Dolflamingo directly to Elton John, but I don't believe it's a direct inspiration by any means. Rather, they're just pulling from the same aesthetic. Also, in regards to the inspiration behind his name Don Quixote, it doesn't appear to have much significance to the protagonist of the Spanish novel it's clearly based on, beyond both characters being formal nobility and madness playing some type of role in their character. Dolflamingo is actually a rather slim man, but with a feather coat behind him, he looks bigger and more imposing. Given the right angle, he can look legitimately intimidating, in spite of the bright pink color. And that feeds into my next point. There's something very deceptive about Dolflamingo's design. Just based off his apparel, he looks like a socialite and a people pleaser, a cheerful personality. But we all know that his smile isn't motivated by cheer. Dolflamingo and his brother Rocinante have a striking resemblance to the Joker. Rocinante in design and Dolflamingo in personality. He even uses Joker as an alias. Dolflamingo hides his eyes and his intentions under rose-tinted shades and a wide smile. But the veins on his forehead give a glimpse at the rage bubbling beneath his surface. He might not look like a madman laughing through insanity at first glance, but he's doing his darndest to hide that fact. Now let's talk about a giraffe, man. Now Kaku sticks out for how his design parallels another One Piece character, Usopp. Almost solely through his nose, and that's joked about several times. But their personalities are more similar than you might remember. Kaku wears the facade of a friendly and trustworthy go-getter carpenter. But like Usopp, he's a liar. He just happens to be a very good one, hiding his true nature as an assassin with no one the wiser. But unlike his companions Jabra and Lucci, he's not a cold-hearted carnivore.
I'm not a vegetarian! I'm gonna kill my— oh my god! Why am I a vegetarian? Okay, wait, what am I? Wait, I'm a vegetarian!
Yeah, he has to be a vegetarian.
Kaku has a genuine passion for shipbuilding and enjoyed his time at Galley Law. And in that passion and need for companionship, he is similar to Usopp. Might be looking into it more than there actually is, seeing how it's mostly just the nose connecting them. But this scene of him and Usopp arguing over the Marys sells this reading to me. And do we even have to mention how fantastic his giraffe form is? It's so good. It makes his square nose even more monstrous and continues to play with shapes the same way his nose does. The hilarious gags, japes, and tomfoolery that's squeezed out of this beautiful beast is simply brilliant. And next up is Cyborg Franky. There are two types of One Piece fans. Those who love Franky's new look, and those that don't. If you own the latter, you're a bona fide coward who has bad taste. I'm sorry, but it's just an objective fact. Franky was always a character who loved extra little knickknacks and gadgets. When we first met him, he was a fridge and a centaur at the same time. Even as a wee lad, he was obsessed with making the coolest battleship with the most awesome features and weapons. And his new design is chock full of pointless little touches. His nose changes his haircut, and I absolutely love seeing how it changes with each arc. His knees turn into tank treads, he has hands that pop out of his hands. His arms are big and square like a child robot toy. Still calling back to his Popeye inspirations while becoming more recognizably a cyborg. He's an action figure through and through, with a very striking silhouette I might add. I don't think I've ever seen another character with a silhouette that even remotely looks like Franky's. A lot of this applies to Franky Shogun as well, but he's just an accessory to our real favorite toy. Franky always had a childish sense of what was cool, and this new Franky looks exactly like what Franky always wanted to look like. Thank you all for joining me today as I gushed about some of my favorite designs in the series. These weren't necessarily my all-time favorites, just the ones I thought I had truly interesting stuff to say about. comment your favorite designs in the series, and hand over those engagement algorithm points, or else! I hope you all have a good one. Like, sub, you know the drill.